Thank you very much. Iran continues taking children, 43 of them based on New York Times. When does the U.S. plan to request the UN Human Rights Council convene to condemn Iran's actions, especially children, and killing of more than 300 demonstrators?
So, a couple of things. First and foremost, we continue to be deeply concerned about the reports of mass arrests and sham trials and now death sentences for protesters. For over 2 months since these protests have began, security authorities have killed hundreds of peaceful protesters who are outraged, as we are outraged by the death of Mahsa Amini. Many of these have been women and girls. And the bravery of Iran's women and girls are continue to be the face of these protests. And the violent crackdown and their resilience is an inspiration to the world. Specifically on the UN, on later this month, on November 24th, the UN Human Rights Council will hold an urgently warranted special session to address the worsening human rights condition in Iran, especially as it relates to women, girls, and children. The U.S. strongly supports this call for a special session, which was requested by our German partners and our partners in Iceland. And the world is watching in horror as the Iranian regime continues to violently crack down on peaceful protesters by its citizens. I will echo what Secretary Blinken said in September, which is that the Iranian government needs to end its state-sponsored violence against women and to allow peaceful protest. The U.S. is going to continue to voice our support for human rights and our support for the Iranian people.
And another question about the drones and missile attacks of Iraqi Kurdistan and targeting civilian camps of Iranian Kurds over there. Personally, I visited over there a couple of times. No any military activities over there. And what's your plan and how will be your response to stop this kind of attack by Iranian regime, because it's targeting Iraqi Kurdistan as your partner, the whole of Iraq, and happened a couple
Sure.
of times. And
So
why I'm asking this question? Because Iraqi sky is under your control, and you are a powerful country, and you have a technology, you have a stronger army,
Sure.
and
So,
technology.
so you've seen us speak to this a number of times before, and what I would say as it relates to Iran and the continued malign and destabilizing activities that Iran takes part in, not just in its immediate region, but in the world more broadly, we have a number of tools at our disposal to continue to hold the Iranian regime accountable, and we've done that. You've seen the State Department and the Treasury Department do that as recently as today, and as recently statement on this very subject earlier this week, in which that we strongly condemn Iran's continued missile and drone attacks against the Iraqi Kurdistan region, and we call on Iran to stop these attacks and to refrain from further threats against Iraq's territorial integrity. And we stand with our partners, the government of Iraq's objective to preserve the country's security, stability, and sovereignty.
But your ally and your partner believe statement is not work. You should do it something.
Like I said, we continue to have a number of tools at our tool belt to hold Iran accountable. I'm not going to read them out from here, but we'll continue to do what is in our power to hold the Iranian regime accountable. Shannon, you had your hand up.
Yes.